Developing now, service members secretly being filmed, and now sexual videos are being posted online without their consent. The videos appear to capture military members masturbating while completely unaware they were being filmed by hidden cameras. And now dozens of videos are being uploaded without their consent, often tagged with their name and rank. According to recently unsealed documents, these incidents occurred several years ago aboard ships and at facilities located at the Navy's base in Guam. NewsNation correspondent Alina Shirazi joining us live on this. Alina, what can you tell us about the Navy's investigation into how this happened?
Well, Natasha, they were uploaded to PornHub, where they could be viewed by anyone who uses the website. But now the big question is, who uploaded these photos, videos, and how exactly did they go about doing it? So according to recently unsealed court documents we obtained, in 2020, more than 100 videos were uploaded to PornHub without their consent. As for who took these videos, again, still unclear. However, the documents say the videos were uploaded by a user named PlayGuy148. All records related to that account, including their email, IP address, and last login, were requested from PornHub to help with the investigation and track down who really did this. But combing through the warrant, as we did earlier, it notably says that, quote, many of these videos, which included audio, appeared to depict various U.S. military members masturbating in bathroom stalls to pornographic materials viewed on electronic devices. The court documents go on to say that the videos appear to be filmed from either above, below, or through holes in the wall of bathroom stalls. And several of these videos were titled, again, with both the rank and last name of the victims. We also learned that PornHub took down the video shortly after being contacted by the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Natasha.
Incredibly alarming. Alina Shirazi with that live report. Thank you so much. And here now to discuss this investigation further, NewsNation law and justice contributor Jennifer Coffendorfer. She's also a former FBI agent. Jennifer, thanks so much for joining us on this.
Thanks for having me, Natasha.
And what a violation for these service members. What is your response to this and the details that are coming down? The more than 100 sexual videos of troops posted online now without their consent, these hidden cameras, and also posted tagged with their names and rank.
It's absolutely hideous. I can't believe this is happening in this day and age, that these types of materials are being, solicited. And listen, Natasha, whoever did this is facing Title 18 USC 1466. That's 5 years per count, and you're talking 100 counts. So they could serve some serious time once they're captured.
Tell me a little more about how this may proceed, because all they have to go off of is this username behind all these videos that were posted. Where does one go from there?
Oh, they're going to be able to track that username. They're going to get an IP address. Then they're going to get a terminal. And at that point, they're going to see who has the ability to utilize that machine. And they are going to be able, I think, to very clearly identify who did this and if there's more than one culprit.
Tell me more about this. Is the initial suspicion that this has to be some sort of inside job? Because one has to have quite a level of clearance in order to even be on this base to function and setting up these sort of hidden cameras. And is that a one-time thing to set up a camera and then you can just remotely retrieve the information? Or is this someone who likely had repeated exposure and opportunity to set up these cameras, et cetera?
Oh, you could absolutely set up this camera and have it stay there and remotely operate it. It's really something, though, that it wasn't detected by anyone. But I could see that if it was secured on the ground or on the floor where one might not look, or on the ceiling, that's likely how this took place. It's also interesting that they utilized audio as well.
And, you know, several of the videos before they were taken down from PornHub showed sailors and Marines in uniform, visible name patches there. And we also know that some of the clips appear to include civilians as well. Officials say these individuals just had no idea that they were being taped. What can these victims legally do?
Well, legally, first of all, criminally, this individual, as I mentioned, could end up serving a lot of time. And from a civil standpoint, there could also be liability and charges from a civil standpoint. I would hope that each of these individuals files civil litigation once that individual is discovered and criminally charged.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.